Okay. So yesterday we chatted and we talked about what we're doing around how entrepreneurs deal with challenges and how we're rewiring the nervous system and why success feels hard and why it feels hard even when we're doing the right things. Does that make sense? Sometimes it feels hard when we're doing the right things. We want to connect the dots between why we struggle, why we have great strategies and they don't seem to work, why we put in great effort and it doesn't seem to produce, and we have high intelligence in the area that we're going to go work in, how shame drives our self-sabotage, all of these things. So what if we start to understand why high performers stay stuck, right? If people have ever said about you, man, you've got some amazing potential. I know I hear that an awful lot. And so, how do we undo this shame loop that's around this? So, what's the invisible struggle? You're not stuck, you're scared. Your body just calls it safety. That's the challenge with this stuff is that we have been doing it for so long. The brain has decided in ways and found ways to protect us so strong that it's even when we hear it, we go, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'm not afraid of this, but I don't know why I don't do it. It's described as functional freeze. This is what it looks like. And now my camera's or my signal is cutting in and out. So that's a clue. So we describe what's called a functional freeze. This is what it looks like in high achievers. We reframe procrastination, we reframe overthinking, imposter syndrome. We do all of these things, and it's really neural protection. The brain is protecting us. And we're going to talk about how the early shame wires of the nervous system, how early shame wired it. Remember, when we talk about babies versus adults, let's just talk about their respiratory rate. Um, one of the interesting, interesting that it keeps cutting out because the light on my camera flashes and I know the signal's going in and out. Um, one of the things I learned in a company 20 years ago was that babies breathe faster than adults. And if you have contaminants in the house, children will experience it 10 times stronger than adults will. So the same is true about our early nervous system and how shame wires that nervous system so that fear is the cost of being seen. So we avoid ourselves, we hide ourselves. So you're not avoiding success, you're avoiding shame that might come with that success. It doesn't sound good, doesn't feel good. It's just what happens. So all that to say, and then we're going to break down a little bit of your limbic system and your limbic response, the amygdala, the hippocampus, and the prefrontal cortex. We're going to talk about all that stuff. So what if what if you the wiring inside of you could be adjusted? What if the wiring inside of you could be adjusted? What if you could what if you could see yourself in a new way? What if you could understand yourself in a new way? Wouldn't that be powerful? That's what we're going to have a conversation about this morning. Is how do we build out these new understandings? How do we have these new dialogues with ourselves? So, what if you weren't broken? What if you weren't broken? What if you realize it's not about how hard you've tried? You've tried hard, but it's because the nervous system is simply wired to protect you. That's all. It's simply wired to protect you. I think of the electric fence that we put up for the sheep. Back on the farm, we had put it up for the cows. You could move the electric wire wherever you wanted to. The reality is that the electric wire always had electric in it, and it always protected you from that boundary. You didn't go to it. You got shocked once. If you've ever been shocked by an electric fence, you know what it's like. And dogs, if they get shocked by it or the animals get shocked by it, they won't go back near it. And that's what's happened to us. We've had this shock in our life that it forces us to stay stuck. We've come up with a real mean name for it called a comfort zone. It's not comfortable. We just figure if I'm comfortable, or if you're uncomfortable and you're uncomfortable and you're uncomfortable, we should probably all call it a comfort zone so we can all be uncomfortable together. And there goes the signal again. This is fascinating. Hey, I'm back. So the big reason for most entrepreneurs and high performers and vision-driven humans, the real fear isn't failure, is being seen. What if I'm not good enough? What if I succeed and still feel empty? Hey, Jameson. What if they leave when I finally speak the truth? This is the unspoken weight of shame. Most of us have learned to cope with it by overperforming, by over-delivering, by people-pleasing, by disappearing behind what we've done. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing. It was nothing. That's how we hide behind our shame. Shame doesn't show up yelling, it whispers. You're too much. You're not enough. Don't try too hard. They'll see you. Don't slow down. They'll leave you. This is what shame whispers to us. It's the software behind the system, behind the strategy. This is what Waddles was talking about. I can only assume this is what Waddles was talking about when he said it's not about doing certain things, it's about doing them in a certain way. And when you act, if you're acting and doing the actions that you're doing, and you're doing it because you don't want to be too much, or you feel you're not enough, or you're working hard at doing something and you're trying too hard, so you don't want to do too much because you'll be seen, or you don't want to slow down because they'll leave you, that's things in a certain way. Right? So let's have a little understanding of what's happening in the brain. See, most people don't talk about it. They just say, well, here's, use my script, say my script, just repeat my affirmations. That's why affirmations built on the I am, from a shame basis, from a shame starting point, are the weakest possible affirmation you could use. If your shame is out of check, it's not in control, and you say, I am this, your shame monster comes and just absolutely destroys that affirmation at an energetic level. So let's get clear on what's happening neurologically. Because if you've ever felt like you're fighting yourself, you are. Why do I sabotage myself? You are. And your brain is trying to protect you. We call it self-sabotage. It's simply your brain wanting to protect you. Shame activates the amygdala. It only takes the slightest little thing. And here's the reality. Here's the reality of today. Because of social media, because of the way we judge things, the way we look at things and say, well, that's how I determine whether that was a good post or not. By likes, by hearts, by views. Shame activates the amygdala. It's your fear center. It tags experiences, it tags moments, and it tags expressions that have happened in your life with this red flag that says, this is unsafe. Why are people afraid to do a live? There's some people that, as of today, have yet to do a live. Probably nobody in this group. I'm pretty sure everybody in this group has done a live on social media. But if you haven't done a live, why? You've got good product. You're a good person. Your product works. It provides a powerful solution. Why are you keeping it a secret? Well, I just don't know how to, I feel uncomfortable. Could you imagine if you spoke the truth and said, well, I feel shamed. I'll be ashamed if I mess up. I'm afraid I won't get it right. People will make fun of me. That's a red flag that gets tagged to a particular idea, concept, or belief that says unsafe. So what happens? Your hippocampus stores this memory. Not just what happened, how you felt. See, if you have a memory, it usually triggers an emotion. That happens in the hippocampus. So if you've ever built a network marketing business and you've had some struggle and some people have left your business, you're afraid in the next business. You think, well, this one will be easier. This one will get started. And as soon as you get involved in it, what happens is the old story shows up and you feel fearful of bringing anybody in because they could leave, right? Then your prefrontal cortex, your executive decision-making center, the logic center, comes in and tries to make sense of this feeling that the hippocampus just stored. It makes sense of the logic. Yet, if the emotional signal is louder than logic, guess who wins? Guess who wins if emotion is louder than logic? Take a big breath. Vagus nerve clear. Let the stress out. Because your body is going into protection because we're uncovering some stuff. We're starting to move some of the stones. And if you've ever been someplace where you've moved stones and there was maybe all of a sudden ants were underneath or maybe a little snake or a gecko or something, it scared you. And so whenever we move stones, we start to get scared. Whenever we uncover things in our life, we start to get scared and nervous. I know, Dubby. Dubby's scared. So your prefrontal cortex comes in and it decides to say, okay, let's make sense of this. Let's use some logic, right? Our executive decision making. Let's make some executive decisions. Yet it can't make any executive decisions going, well, that was interesting. Don't repeat that. If a total amount of fear was associated with it. So just think about some things that you've been fearful of, and is it emotional or logical? It doesn't make any sense why I won't do this. Then it's emotional. So that's why when you sit down to work and suddenly freeze or start scrolling or self-sabotaging, it's not a lack of discipline, it's a protective mechanism. So just ask, am I protecting myself listening to this? I know, Dublin. Ask. I set a bold goal. This is what the shame loop looks like. You set a bold goal. You remember what happened last time. Hey, buddy. And you feel the fear of what could happen. You could win. How many of your goals that you set, you could win at your goals? All of them. Otherwise, you wouldn't set them. You could win at all of your goals. What typically happens? We don't win. Because when we start to think about it, when we start to feel it, when we start to understand it, shame gets triggered. This is why when we visualize and we castle build, right? Napoleon Hill would call it castle building. If we don't visualize strong enough, the reason that we visualize is we're overcoming. I know, Dubby, tell them we're overcoming shame. That's why we visualize, so that we can see ourselves beyond the shame, beyond that vibration. This is what Bob Proctor was talking about, because if we don't visualize, if we don't elevate our vibration, we're staying on our shame vibration. Does that make sense? The body activates this protection. It activates avoidance, perfectionism, overthinking, all of the ways to keep us from moving forward. This is why people ask how all the time. If you're asking how do I get there, you're trying to avoid your shame, and that ain't gonna happen. You will not avoid your shame with strategy. It's why if we get into the why, state is what shifts our frequency around shame. So this is a mindset issue. I know, Dubby, tell them. It's a nervous system pattern. And the good news, here's the good news, the pattern can be rewired. So how do we change? Well, it's through the NEST program, the Neuroenergetic Self-Sculpting. This isn't about positive thinking. Oh, I got to think positive. Oh, think happy thoughts. It's about brain rewiring. It's about emotional decoding and energetic anchoring, right? Dub. So what's the first thing? Well, we all know about it. It's called self-talk. It's called repatterning, right? So the brain believes what it hears most often. Congratulations, where you're at, it's your thoughts, period, end of story, full stop. Where you're at, congratulations, it's your thoughts. The brain believes what it hears most often. So we create a new phrase that speaks directly to that fear. How about, it's safe to be seen? Say it. It's going to feel odd. You're going to feel a energy in your body. It's safe to be seen. You're not going to love it right away. You're not going to love it like maybe you love chocolate ice cream. Oh, chocolate ice cream. Oh, I could go for a bowl of chocolate ice cream. I don't particularly enjoy chocolate ice cream. I'm just using it as an example. Right? So it's safe for me to be seen. I don't need to perform to belong. These feel odd. They feel weird because it's the vibration. They are setting up you're used to playing the cymbals, right? The cymbals in your orchestra, and now you're playing the violin. It's a different vibration. It's different notes. Same part of the song, just different parts of just different notes being played, right? So it's safe for me to be seen. You repeat that enough times, you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at what could happen in a week. A week? Yeah, well, you've been sabotaging yourself for decades. A week is not that long of a time. So the first thing is self-talk repatterning. That's what we do in the NEST program. So it's these simple things. You could use this phrase, and you could start with this phrase. It's safe for me to be seen. Say that out loud. Say it loud and just feel where you feel it in your body. That's where shame is being triggered. It's safe for me to be seen. Well, I don't feel anything. Well, that's a problem. That's the issue. Because the logic is it's safe for you to be seen, but there's no emotion behind it, so it can't actually happen. This is what chapter 1 is in Think and Grow Rich. Desire. Science of Getting Rich, you're right to be rich. You have a right to be rich. Do you believe that? You have a right to be rich. You were given more skills and talents than you'll ever be able to use. Your job is to develop as many of those as you can in this blink of an eye called a lifetime. So first one is self-talk repatterning. Second one is breath and regulation. Slow breath. Engage the vagus nerve. Signal the body we are not in danger. That's why breathing, if you focus on your breathing, that breathing becomes a conscious decision, and it takes away the subconscious override. When you breathe, you are forcing your subconscious to sit down. The thing that is running you, you're forcing your unconscious to pause the program it was running. Because breath is so vital. The brain looks for two things. Will this kill me, or how fast can I recognize the pattern? You are addressing the two key areas of your life, of your existence, of your vibration, and saying, I choose control. Breath, will it kill me? If I'm not breathing, it sure as heck will. And why are you breaking the pattern? So if I'm in control of my breathing and my body becomes relaxed and I change the sympathetic nervous systems, all of a sudden what happens is I start to have control. That's all meditation is you telling your body, I am in control, I understand safety, and I am building for my best version of me. That's why people say, well, I can't meditate. 2 hours a day, I don't have time for that. Of course you have time for that. Of course you have time for that. You know why you choose not to is because it would break all of your patterns. So number one, self-talk. Number two, breath and regulation. It brings the prefrontal cortex online so we can respond, not react. We can signal the body to say, we're not in danger. Breathing signals to the body we're not in danger. And if we're not in danger, we don't activate the amygdala. If we don't activate the amygdala, the hippocampus doesn't have to bring up all the memories and tell it to the amygdala to say, here's the last time we were here. The last time we were here, we got hurt. The last time we were here, we got upset. The last time we were here, we felt uncomfortable. So let's avoid that. The hippocampus isn't triggered to bring up those memories. This making sense? This is all why this is a brain thing, not a script thing. This is a state thing, not a strategy thing. So the chakras alignment, right? The energy centers in our body. We address where the shame lives. We address the power we have, the worth we have, the voice we have. I'm safe in my power. My heart is allowed to express. My voice matters, even if it shakes. Sometimes you'll still hear my voice crack. He cracked earlier in this conversation. That's a little bit of the shame sneaking out. It is. Speaking in front of an audience, I know I'm triggering some of you. I feel bad I'm triggering some of you. If we don't get through the trigger, if we don't address it, you'll never know why you keep getting triggered. So every now and then, the little boy in me goes, I don't think you have any right to be talking about this. And you'll hear my voice crack. It's what happens. And then you've got to giggle. So breathe. Feel these words. Repeat these words. Let them land in your nervous system, not just in your mind. I'm safe in my power. My heart is allowed to express. My voice matters, even if it shakes. Say it, feel it, begin to let your body vibrate at this. I am safe in my power. My heart is allowed to express. My voice matters, even if it shakes. One more time. I am safe in my power. My heart is allowed to express. My voice matters, even if it shakes. Do you feel the shift? This is about the power of self-talk, brain talk, nest talk. We have to begin to tell our body what we want it to feel because it is operating out of the default mode network, and it is just programming after programming after programming. Every time we try to do this, if we don't do it repetitively, what does the hippocampus say? Oh, another affirmation that's not going to work for us. You have all these great affirmations, and yeah, they make you feel good for temporary. They instantly respond in your body, but you don't repeat them. So, okay, we'll just write these down again. We'll put them in a notebook and never pay attention to them. This is what your hippocampus is saying. So every time you go to open up your notebook or go to open up or read your affirmations again, the hippocampus goes, excuse me, amygdala. Remember the last time we did this? We didn't follow through and then we felt bad. So just let's skip to the feeling bad part and we don't do it. This is literally how your brain is being wired. This is literally how your brain became wired. You'll do good things that you know are good for you and good for you and your vision, good for you, your vision and your dream. You have your DMP, you have these things, and you don't do it. We don't last 21 days doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Bob Proctor said, do the thing until you don't have to do the thing. Some of us are still having to do the thing. We haven't done it long enough, so we don't have to do it. We get to do it. Self-talk is that. That's why when you start off with self-talk, you'd want to do it maybe twice a day for about 3 or 4 minutes each. Oh, I can put on headphones and I could listen to self-talk all day long. You will awaken a giant of catastrophic disaster because it's too much, too fast. And because you haven't had a conversation like this about identity and shame to know what's coming when you start your rewire. If you try to chip away at this thing instantly and chip away and knock down the whole building, go in and do the where they blow it up and they do the destruction and they collapse a building all at once, that creates a lot of fallout, right? All the dust that comes from that thing when it collapses. That's what happens to us. And since then we don't feel comfortable with it, we stop doing it. We go, I tried that. Boy, I got sick. I got constipated. I got migraines. Your body does some pretty amazing things to protect itself. So just sit with these things, sit with these ideas. I am safe in my power. My heart is allowed to express. My voice matters, even if it shakes. So would you like a new OS? A new operating system? So here's your new map. Old code, your old programming was shame equals pressure equals performance equals a crash. Right? So here's the new code. Awareness, safety, authenticity, alignment, and action. Now, this isn't a one-time fix. This is a daily recalibration. So we have to notice, here's some things to pay attention to. Notice, we got to become aware of where the old loop when it begins to arise. When we start to feel this, because it runs so subconsciously, so effortlessly, we don't even know when it begins sometimes. It's like, well, when did you get over your cold? When did you get over being sick? I don't know. Yesterday I wasn't feeling good. Today I feel pretty good. Well, there was a moment where the not feeling good stopped, but it was so subtle. It was so small in its transformation because you were getting better, better, better. And then you were better, 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 better. And then you were better. Well, the same thing happens. It's shame starts, shame starts, and then we're in shame. So how do we begin to recognize the earliest moment where that trigger, where that new pattern, that old pattern is running, where the change from not being in shame to being in shame starts? So we have to notice where that loop arises. We have to pause and breathe and speak our new self-talk. All right. I'm safe to be seen in my power. My heart has permission to express. My voice is powerful, even if it's shaking, right? And then we re-anchor this into the new, into the now, into the moment. So ask yourself daily, ask yourself hourly, where am I hustling out of fear? I got to make money. I got to create some income. I had a conversation with a gentleman yesterday, called me. He said, man, I am just absolutely at wit's end. I got to get something. I got to find something. Now, he's been a speaker trainer, stood on stages for decades. I got to find something. That's a hustle from fear. And it's really hard to have a conversation, to speak to somebody and say, be in faith, be in joy, be in gratitude, be grateful for this moment. Are you nuts? You don't know the bills I got. No, I don't. I also know that the law of vibration is the law of vibration. And if you are hustling from fear, you will only find fearful hustles. It's just that black and white. Those are the laws of the universe. What you vibrate at, you will seek. If you put on a pair of glasses that make everything purple, the only thing you'll see are things that are not purple, because purple will look clear, will look normal. So the thing you're trying to avoid, fear, is the only thing that you'll wind up being attracted to, because it doesn't look different. It looks exactly normal. But that's because of those are the glasses. That's the vibration your body's in. What would success feel like? Listen carefully. What would success feel like if I didn't have to earn it? Oh, you mean it just happened? It was just here? Yeah. What would that feel like? Oh, well, that would never be the case. There's your patterns. Well, how would you get success without earning it? That's your patterns. That wasn't the question. The question is what would success feel like if you did not have to earn it? You mean it just showed up? Yeah. You thought about it. It showed up exactly in the manner you thought about it. Who would I become if I stopped performing? I have to put posts out on social media. That's performance. I got some messages to share. What if you used it? What if you used social media as a repository for your great memories? Didn't matter whether anybody saw them or not. It's the reason I record these audios, these trainings. It's for my grandkids, and maybe for Mason, if he wants to watch them and listen to them. But my grandkids, my great grandkids, my great 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 grandkids. That's why I record stuff. I love sharing it with you, but my true goal is to share it with the people who will be in my world directly, who might not have a chance to hear me live and in person. They'll get this. Is this Memorex? That'll find out how old you are real quick. So, who do I become if I stop performing? Where am I hustling from fear? What would success feel like if I didn't have to earn it? Those are questions you should ask yourself daily, hourly, twice a day, because that's what you're returning to. You're returning to yourself, not the performative you, not the protective you, the present, powerful you. And from that space, everything you've built will finally feel like it belongs to you. Let that settle in. What if in the moment when it transitions, when you realize, when you grasp the idea, the concept, the belief that, holy crap, this was always mine. This was always mine. Does that make sense? Questions, comments, thoughts? What's your ahas? What's your takeaways? What's your, oh yeah. AJ, go ahead, sir.
Yes, sorry. Good morning. How's it
Good
going?
morning. Outstanding.
Outstanding. I had a pretty good journaling session last night, and I know you said that we shouldn't be dependent of good opinions of others, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I
I
didn't,
know
Maxwell
that.
did, but yes, I repeated his words.
I heard you say it. Okay. Um, there was a comment made to me yesterday from a person that you and I both hold dear. It's Big Mitch, right?
Yep.
And he said, so we talked about, as you know, I've been heavily invested in my body pillar over the last couple of days. I've been really utilizing ChatGPT. I've been really making them earn those $20 a month I pay for it. And I was working on it. So there's a couple of ahas, right?
Yep.
First things first, I think I'm starting to understand really how to optimize and utilize ChatGPT to my advantage.
Sure.
Him and I are kind of going through this process together now at this point, or it and I, should I say. And then yesterday, as I was walking on the lake here, I was doing some speed walking, and it just dawned up on me that there's this certain thing in, sorry about that. There's this certain thing in people that they either have it or don't have it, and it's what I like to call a killer instinct. It's just to get something done or not. And then there was a comment made to me by Big Mitch, right? We talked about some stuff, and I told him, "Hey, listen, I'm on this. I'm using ChatGPT. It made a it made a PT regimen for me, it's physical therapy for me that I can do at home.
Mm-hmm.
Made a workout. It made a workout session for me per week. Gave me the diet, gave me the supplements, gave me everything that I need to really kind of fuel my body into doing good work, right? And I told him all this, and I said, it's really working on good. I feel great. Most of the time, I feel a lot better compared to before. And then he said, "Listen, I don't know what Sean told you. I don't know what really happened. I don't know, but whatever he's making you do it, or for whatever reason he's doing that, or whatever he told you, he really knows how to pull some strings on you and make you do the work." And I said, "Well, yeah." So then we had a wholesome moment because we were kind of cherishing you. And but then I started thinking about it, and I actually journaled it last night. Find it here. This is my great book of secrets right here. These are 5,000 old secrets in here.
So hang on for
So,
just a second. Hang on for just a second. You got your idea. You have your thought pattern. You got your process where you're going.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so we're going to do a little diverge, right? We're going to be the less walked path in the woods. How does it feel, something that you now do effortlessly, to be able to grab a book of knowledge? See, we forget about this. This book of knowledge that we make light of because most other people don't have it, and most people wonder, how did you get it? Just the fact that you grab a journal in Serbia is freaking outlandish. Nobody has one journal, let alone three they write in.
Uh,
You have four. So let alone, but you have the one that's the secrets one.
yeah. So this gray one, that's kind of my everyday one, and then I have the black one. It has the OS in it and so on. Then I have
Love how
my.
we avoided the question I asked. How does it make you
Uh,
feel?
I did not hear you ask that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What is the
You'll.
feeling that you get when you get to turn and go, oh, it's it. The thought that you get in the turning, in the moving towards your backpack, there's a whole level of confidence that we stomp out, we override, we strategy instead of, I want you to put the book back for just a second, put the book back. And now I want you to turn and say, I journaled it last night and the feeling it gave me, let me share. And then go reach for the book.
I journaled a little last night, and the feeling it gave me. I'm just share that for a second here. Okay, now this feels a lot more profounder. I'd say.
Yes, because the challenge is that we will stomp out joy
Yeah.
so we don't have to be different. And that's shame. That's literally shame. So go ahead, read what you journaled. Share it.
Well, I memorized it now.
Okay,
Okay.
good. And
So
I love, 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 love. Tell them I'm so proud of them. Petra and Sister Margaret, whatever their names are. I love to see the big orange juice. Nobody gets in a glass of orange juice that big.
this is a half a liter of orange juice.
Yes,
They kind of fix it up for me, so
I'm just so
some
proud
good
of
stuff
them.
in there. Yeah, some good stuff in there. I as you know, as I was working on it, I figured that that
Do y'all see
this
his
this
body? Do y'all see his body relax now? He has stepped into the what he's about to express to me.
or that.
Shoulders are down, the hip is relaxed, his chin is relaxed, his body is relaxed because I wanted to get him to this state. And because from this state, we'll hear the message. From this state, we'll hear the vibration versus the strategy. So that's just a mentoring moment for others to pay attention to. We can hear the body, we can hear the message, and we can hear this, but it's going to be said from a strategy. It's not going to be said from a state. And you're teaching right now. And I want people to be able to hear the teaching and not feel bad about the teaching. He's doing it. He's so much younger than me because all of these things are going to come up. He's younger than me and he's over there and oh my God, he's in Serbia. I'm in California. I'm in Toronto. I'm in Nebraska. I'm wherever the hell I am. How come he can do it? And that's all of the things that come up when you're about to speak from strategy. Because you mentioned killer instinct, which shocked, sent alarms into everybody. I don't have a killer instinct. Yes, you do. Somebody goes after your family, you turn into a killer. I promise you, you all have killer instincts. Period. End of story. So I wanted to get him into this state to where he was relaxed, not embarrassed, not shameful reading this because he's like, I do this every day. Why didn't everybody else talk? I feel like I'm stealing the show and blah, 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 blah. You're teaching, my friend. You're teaching and sharing and mentoring others to help them do things they didn't know they could do. And you're just doing your life. This is what's called living by example. So big breath, rest of the story.
Clearing the vagus nerve.
There you go.
Smart ass. Okay, so I'm just kidding. Gotcha.
Love it.
Um, actually, what you said is now interesting. I realized so here's another aha that kind of just that got downloaded. I realized that in the last couple of days, couple of weeks, let's say 2 weeks maybe, if we talk about something and you provide a mentoring moment for me and say, just for example, what you just mentioned right now, which was the embarrassment of being up time on the call, quote unquote. I don't feel it anymore. I just raise my hand, I talk, and if anybody else wants to raise their hand, they're more than welcome to. I I will find that welcoming, you will find it welcoming. So that's completely fine now. So going back to that it means for me now that whatever you say to me just kind of gets wired in immediately right now. I think I've gotten to that stage at this point that it just makes sense immediately, and it doesn't take necessarily a lot of time for me to start applying it
Mm-hmm.
versus before, right?
Yep. Yep.
So what was the big aha last night was that this whole personal undevelopment thing, it's a deep well, Jack. I mean, it's like a video game. I feel like I'm playing Grand Theft Auto because every single day you kind of find these new levels and then you have these new breakthroughs and then you realize, well, this is only the beginning. You can go down the rabbit hole for miles on end and on each activity. For example, since I'm doing body pillar right now, I mean, I could talk and plan and execute for days just about my diet. And then where's the workout? Where's the cardio? Where's the supplements? Where's the energy? So there's all these venues that you can go down and really explore it to the fullest. And then what I wrote down was, and guess what, Skippy? This is only one pillar, and there's like five more. So that was huge. However, what happened, and this really made me giggle last night as I was journaling, was this. So ChatGPT mentioned this to me in the interview part of things. It told me that I create these high performance, high intensity routines that I can't sustain. So as I was planning all of this, I kind of kept it as simple as I could. And then I focused on actually sustaining them, which is now the biggest breakthrough I've had so far in any field. And then I was like, okay, so there's five more pillars. It's gonna take some time, right? I'm gonna take, let's say, a couple of days per pillar to plan it all and just, make sure that I understand the whole concept, right? And then I'm gonna focus on execution a lot more compared to the planning because I have my plan written out. It's already out there. I have it in my notes. I have it in my phone. I have it in my two journals. And the only thing left is, well, to execute.
Hmm.
So in the beginning, it kind of looked scary. Not gonna lie, kind of looked scary because there was just all this information downloading to me. But as I was working towards it, I realized that, sure, okay, the preparation is gonna be maybe even at times overwhelming in terms of how much information gets downloaded. But then I immediately remember what you say all the time, which is if somebody gives you an hour to chop down a tree, you're going to spend 45 minutes, making sure that your sword or axe
Yep.
is going to be,
Yep.
sharp
Sharpening the
enough.
saw.
So you're going to sharpen your saw for 45 minutes. And then I realized, well, that's the whole point. And then I felt like, oh, okay, so this is awesome now, guys. I get to do this for me. So that's the biggest aha for me since yesterday.
So add in the new ingredient of feeling. And the reason I offer that is because you will do it's not that you couldn't do the over the top programming or planning or strategy sessions in the training that you couldn't keep up with. It's not that you couldn't keep up with it. It's you choose to not keep up with it. So you could say, I failed at the highest level. That's the badge we're all looking for is I want to be able to say I failed at the highest level. The reason life sucks is because we're failing at the lowest level. We're failing at the lowest level. And if we fail at the lowest level, we sure as hell don't believe we're going to win at the highest level. So then we underperform. We say, yeah, but that's just me. That's shame. That's all that is shame. It's a wired in safety mechanism to keep you from having to stand out. So the feeling of you losing 30 pounds. What are people going to say to you? Listen, I've hung around guys long enough in my world that we can be pretty fun cutting, undercutting. We can make some pretty mean jokes that are guy jokes that we would never say to females, but we can say to guys, and the little boy hears it and we become shameful. We laugh it off. We have a toast. Yeah, F you too. You blah, 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 blah. And we put these vibrations into the world as a defense mechanism to say, yeah, see, even though you've done the work, you still haven't done the work. So you have to, not even get to, you have to become aware of maintaining your own energy, because you are about to witness a gauntlet of attacks that aren't meant to be attacks. But if you're sunburned and somebody has you walk to the car with them, it hurts. That doesn't hurt them, hurts you. You feel the sunburn on your body. We have been nuclear burned by our old stories. Now, and we can connect things real easy. And the female brain does this 1,000 times better than the male brain. So you look at your knee and you don't see your knee. You see the hospital. You see every memory associated with the knee. You see I could have avoided that thing if I was just one more traffic light. You've said this. If I just one more traffic light, I would have avoided that thing. 2 seconds, I would have avoided that thing. It would have been gone. I don't know. It was stupid. I don't know why I left early. Why did I leave early? I could have left later. I could have, and you keep playing that story. And that's because while you're doing a bench press, you see your knee. If you happen to pick your knees up when you're trying to really push that last press out. And that's all happening subconsciously. This is why we have to fall in love with everything, even the thing we're most fearful of. Because if we don't fall in vibration of love with it, it continues to just. It's like, how many of you have ever been around flowers that have been around too long in the vase and they're dead and they stink and you're like, oh my God, these flowers stink. Wait a minute, they were beautiful, gorgeous flowers before. It's because the water became stagnant, because they weren't designed to live that way. They needed roots. They had no roots. Some of your dreams some of your goals have roots. Some of your bad stories have roots that go back decades. And some of your new dreams are cut flowers. You got to get them to root. So that's what this repetition and conversation and diving into things and go, oh, isn't that interesting? Oh, there's more. Yeah. You can go down to the pillar of health and then go sideways for infinity. You still got to come back to the core of you to go to the next level. And that's where people sometimes feel, oh my God, I don't know why I'm not advancing, because you're off on this path somewhere. You got to come back to the center. You got to come back to the core, and you got to decide to go down another level.
BT dubs. I used a chat to create a vision statement for me from my body. I think I sent it to you on WhatsApp. I don't know if anyway. It's just the best thing ever, man. And
now it's just
I
words.
get to do that for her.
It's just words. How is it the best thing ever? It's just words.
Because as I read it, this movie starts playing in the
So
mind.
it creates the feeling, the vision. That's the secret. End of story.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't force you into an altered state. It's not worth it. It's why we have to keep saying it over. Why do I have to write my DMP every day? Oh my gosh, write my DMP every day? Yes, until you don't have to write your DMP every day. Write it every day, every day. Oh my gosh, it takes like 20 minutes. Are you kidding me? It takes 20 minutes to write out your dream. You're not willing to put in 4 or 5 hours, 10 hours? 10 hours to get it to where it's memorized, and you can blink your eyes like Genie and go, I just said my DMP. I don't know. Tell me how that's working for you. So what's next now? Knowledge is good, but It becomes even better when it becomes applied knowledge. What do you apply?
Yes, sir. I am applying. So regarding my body pillar, which is all I've done so far, I'm going to start in my mind today.
Now, wait a second. Think about this. What did it take to do your body pillar?
Just a decision.
Right? But what did you use to help create your body pillar? Didn't you use your mind?
I did use the point where you said I was a fat piece of shiitake. That was kind of the motivating factor, I'd say. Yeah.
So you used your mind. Didn't you use
Yeah.
your family? Did your family play into any of this?
Uh, well,
What your brother would think, what your mom would think, your love for them to be able to help them serve them more
I don't know, because
at a subconscious level.
okay, well, yeah, at a subconscious level, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. How about society?
Oh yes, definitely. Yes, sir.
So, but you so
Yeah.
well, here's the thing: when we work on one pillar, it affects all of our pillars. If you think your body gets healthier, do you think you make more money?
Yeah.
Yeah. So working on your body pillar is not an isolated thing. Because now when you go to work on your mind, you already have proof that you're working on your body. Oh my God, this is easier. When you work on society, you already have proof that you're working on your body, your finance, your mind, and now society is like, oh my gosh, I can donate more. I can help more kids not cry. If I help more kids not cry, it means I'm going to be doing things. I'm going to be helping things. I'm going to be volunteering. I'm going to be buying gifts and groceries and little cards. So you're going to be moving. You're going to be walking. You're going to be doing things. They're all interconnected. You do not do a pillar in isolation. You can isolate it, but it's not done in isolation. You get good at your body pillar, you're already better at your mind pillar because your mind has to make all of your body decisions.
Actually, there's like this whole page worth of a vision statement, right? That Chad produced for me, and each paragraph, if you really start to dissect the lines, as I did, as I was writing it down in my journal, when you really start to dissect the lines, you figure that there's really every pillar in there. Because one line would say, for example, I go through my day, or I go about my day energized, I walk smoothly, I walk with confidence, so on and so forth, which further means that you're going to be going out there, you're going to be seen, you're going to be in your society pillar, you're going to go out there and do your thing, right? And then it talks about the feelings as well, which means, for example, there's a line that directly addresses your future wife, and if you have a child, especially a son, right? There's a family pillar, and so on and so forth. So yes, yes, sir, that's true. It's
It
really all of them are there.
it can't be done in isolation. If it's done in isolation, it's strategy, not state. And that's where most people get screwed is when they go into strategy. Well, I got to work on my body. So that means I got to eat this, I got to eat this, I got to eat this, I got to do that, I got to do this. And they have the strategy, but they never convince their mind to say, if I do this, people are going to love me. If I do this, I'm going to love me. So back to the question, are you ready for the love?
Get into it. I
And that
actually thought about
and that's the
well,
delay.
one thing you said really struck with me, and you said it the other day. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, doesn't matter. You said we talked about friends, and you said, well, what do you think people are going to feel when you make it? And I said, well, they're going to feel great. And you said, no, Skippy, they're going to feel bad, because what if I fail and you succeed? Then I feel bad because I succeeded, because you're down there, like you're down in the mud, and I'm kind of on the rooftop. And I thought about that for a very long time over the last couple of days, and that is subconsciously that's true, because
No, really?
I so this is what's happening today. Like this is happening over the last 2 hours.
Yep.
I'm turning 24 tomorrow, so I'm trying to get to go on a trip somewhere, and I'm kind of figuring out where am I gonna go. I want to go someplace sunny, so I'm kind of like am I gonna go to Greece or Dubai or whatever? And then I realized, well, I can go somewhere in Europe, and then I pull out my phone. I'm trying to see and find a victim to go with me, right? And then I figured that the people I hang around with, they either can't take time off work or they don't have the funds to kind of just go on the trip all of a sudden out of nowhere because they want to, like I can, because I can do that. I got the time, I got the funds for it, I don't care. Um, and then I realized and thought about once more about what you said the other day, which was what if I succeed and they fail? Well, that's gonna make me feel bad because there for a split of a second I was like, oh, well that's the reason I travel alone all the time because people my age either don't have the time nor don't have the money, and usually it's both. And that's why I solo travel all the time because I have the time and the funds, right? So that's really true, and I guess that's a clue. So in the end, what I've done is I decided to, since this is a long overdue promise, I decided to on Saturday actually take my mom to. So I'm gonna go there with my mom. I'm gonna take her to Dubai. It's been her dying wish since forever to go there, and I'm just gonna make it happen for her. And yeah,
So pay attention to this feeling. You get to give the gift. One of the things, the reason people struggle with success is they don't know what it feels like. I'll tell you a quick story. So there's a gentleman who has become wildly large in the manufacturing of network marketing products. He's kind of behind a lot of companies that have started uh, and has done wildly successful. Wildly successful. Good businessman, solid understanding of how to help people win. Now has kids, sixth graders, seventh graders, eighth graders, and they're a basketball team. And so this eighth grade basketball team, they call it a traveling team. So they'll play outside of their own school district. It's an elite basketball team that they play other elite teams, right? Well, these kids play. They're in Texas, and they'll have events in Tennessee. They'll have events in Georgia. They'll have events in North Carolina. Well, most times people would have to drive there because they can't. Most parents can't afford a ticket to fly there everywhere. So he loads up. Now he's got a much bigger plane, private jet, but he had two jets, and he would load the parents in one and the kids in the other, and fly them on private jets to these events. And they'd get off in their custom jerseys. Some of these kids would have never left Texas. So my point is that as you succeed, offer people the opportunity who want to experience success for you to be able to share that with them. Then you will never fail because you're responsible to them, not for them. Allow them to find out who wants to raise their hand. So this is what Jim Rohn would say. Find your audience, talk to them, give them a chance to raise their hand. We avoid the last one because of shame. Hey, I'm going to Dubai. Who would like to go? Oh, well, I can't afford it. That wasn't my question. Who would like to go? Well, I'd like to go. Great. Pack your bags. We're going. What? That's what you're doing with your mom. Imagine if you were able to do that for somebody else. And it could be, I don't know, Belgrade, but what's another city that you would go to? What's another? Hey, listen, we're going to go on a day trip to blah, 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 and we're going to have lunch and come back. Who wants to go? Well, I didn't ask you that. I said, who wants it? You want to find out who wants it.
actually did that last weekend.
Good.
Yeah.
How'd that feel?
Felt great, and especially because my friends, so the friend that I so we went there on kind of a double date, right? And my friend, he's a good guy, but he doesn't quite see something that I see, right? Anyway, I told him, hey, listen, I'm gonna take you someplace nice. We're gonna go to Bosnia, right? So we're gonna go to another country to have lunch. He was like, well, but we can just go to Belgrade. I'm like, no, no, I want to. I want to take you somewhere fancy. It's this big, steakhouse. They got these huge ribeye steaks, like half a kilo, whatever. It's like a pound and a half of steak, right? We're gonna have that. And so he asked me, God bless him. He asked me, what's the dress code? And I said, listen, just don't wear nothing that somebody would arrest you if they saw you with that, right? So don't be wearing no Nike sweatpants or whatever. Just have jeans and a t-shirt, and it's okay. And he said, all right. So go there. We walk up to the place, and the girls, so his lady and the one that they wanted to set me up with, they're like, wow, this is so fancy. And now the place looks fabulous, right?
Right.
There's this whole huge big ass chandelier. There's this like all the waiting staff has white shirts with ties and so on, like aprons and so on and so
Hmm?
forth. And they wear gloves when they serve the steak, and like they ride the steak towards you on a cart, like they don't carry it in their hand. It's a it's a fancy place now. Since it's in Bosnia, it's extremely. I mean, it's extremely cheap. Okay, but it's great.
Good. Yeah.
And the waiter comes over. He's like, "Well, what are you guys having?" And I said, "Came here for the steak, right?" So he turns to my friend and he said, "Well, sir, what would you like?" Now, my guy probably never had steak before, right? And he's just staring at me. So I'm like, "We're gonna take ribeyes, right? And then these girls, they're gonna have some burgers or whatever." And then the waiter turned to me because he saw that I was clearly kind of leading in front,
Mhm.
right? And I said, "So you're gonna do us a favor and you're gonna make those medium rare. We're gonna have some veggies on the side, and you're gonna bring us your famous barbecue sauce." He was like, "Sure, noted." And he turns over to my friend to kind of confirm, and then my friend goes, "Well, I don't want it to be medium rare because then it's like I want my meat cooked." And then the waiter turns over to him and he says, "Sir, if you're gonna have a ribeye steak, it's not gonna be very good if it's well done, or if it's cooked, it's not gonna be, it needs to be medium rare. That's the perfect kind of temperature and so on and so forth." And then my friend looks over to me, and I'm like, "Yeah." I just started nodding, and he was like, "Oh, oh, oh, yeah, yeah, sure, sure. I'm gonna have that as well, right?" So they bring the food over. He has a steak. He loves it, right? And it was just wholesome because I saw him, and he really didn't know how to kind of do it when they brought it over. He really didn't know like from which part to start eating and how to cut it and how to like what to do. So we had a wholesome moment. It was like $100 worth of lunch or whatever, and I gave the guy a tip, and he said, "Do you want to split it?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Oh, okay." And then he fueled my, he put some money for my gas, kind of to
Right. Yeah.
prepay or whatever. But yeah, it was great. I did that, and then this trip to Dubai as well. I
So hang on a
decided
second.
to.
Hang on a second. I want everybody to live the moment that you just heard. And here's the challenge with success. Imagine if the both of you, this was your first time there, and neither of you knew what the hell you were doing, but somebody had told you this is a great place for steak, and you're like, "Ooh, I like steak." And the waiter comes and goes, "What can I get for you?" "Well, what do you have?" And the waiter would go through a whole list that would be confusing and be like, "Oh my God, I don't know." "Well, just bring me what you like." And the guy, if he didn't have somebody there to know that medium rare was it, he'd have ordered it well done and blah, 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 blah. We have to have somebody leading. And the confidence he had, your friend had, knowing that you are going to guide him was because you knew you've been there before. You know what to do. You know the famous barbecue. "Oh, I didn't even know you could get that. Oh my gosh. You know the secret. You know the code." This is because here's the thing, here's the secret. I could now go to the restaurant. I've had steak, never in Bosnia, but I could say, "Somebody told me about your barbecue sauce." "Oh, yes, absolutely. We'll bring that too." But if you don't ask for it, they won't bring it. But because I heard your vision, I could sit in your vision. You described it with feeling. I could now go to this place and go, "Wow, this is bigger than I thought," but I know how to order. The challenge with success or our DMP is we don't freaking know how to order. And your DMP is your order to the universe. What do you want? What you're doing is you're ordering your body pillar right now based upon the effort you are putting in. So I love that story. It's an awesome story.
It was good because he was all clumsy with it, man. He didn't know how to do it or whatever. And then I said, well, listen, here's how you do it, and so on and so forth. So,
So
but this,
you mentored him.
yeah. And here's what's interesting to me at that. Here's what's interesting to me, or was interesting at that point. So this guy, we were cool while we were at the same level. As I already in uh, junior and senior year of high school already started making money. Uh, as soon as I graduated high school, I started working in sales, started making a lot of money. And for quite a long time, I'd say even a few periods, few years worth of time, this guy would be like, whatever you're doing, that's just, you're crazy and blah, 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 whatever. And then he saw that he couldn't get up in here because this is a fortress in here. And then he turned around and he started seeing the vision. And when we had this lunch, I saw that he didn't look at me like, and you're gonna get this because you're talking about just this earlier. The boys' club can be horrific, okay? Especially if you guys have been long enough around each other, it can be horrific, right? It's all this sarcasm and a lot of talk about somebody else's mother and so on. So there's all this stuff that can get pretty nasty in the boys' club.
Yep.
And I saw that he looked at me and he didn't think of that, but he was actually like, I'm loving this experience. I could see in him that he actually loved this experience. And I was like, that's the whole point why we came here.
Why do you think was he a sunlight or a mirror? So did
Uh,
your did his expression of loving the event make you love it, or were you already loving it and he mirrored neuroned your vision, your
I
experience?
I think I loved it already because I was
You
feeling
already
like at home there. Yeah.
you knew what to expect. This is what happens
Yeah. Yeah.
when we lead with confidence. You show up and have a conversation with a prospect. They're like, if you're, that's why they say ignorance on fire rather than knowledge on ice. People get excited by your excitement. The challenge is we're only excited until we learn enough to not be excited.
They were approaching the place. So there's this huge kind of hallway leading to the place, and there's this olive branches on top and whatever. And I walked in. I was walking to the place like I owned the place, and they were walking to the door, and they were kind of walking slowly, kind of looking around. I immediately understood that was the first step of the shame loop because they were like, "Do we belong here?" Because it's all fancy and it's all like the car park in front of the place, right? I mean, it is the top shelf, right? And I saw them; they were like, "Do we belong here? What's going on?" And then we actually had the best time ever. And just like you said, I came in there, came in like I owned the place, sat down, knew exactly. They brought us four menus. I'm like, I don't need a menu. I've been here like 1,000 times already. I know what to eat. Um, and just that level of being sure that you can bring value to others, not in terms of like buying their friendship or whatever, but in terms of just blessing the people around you. That was so wholesome, and it was so great. So
Congratulations. That's huge because that's forever in their memory. And they get to
yeah,
brag. And when they brag, they put the vibration back into you. I just want more people to brag about me. I want them to brag about their experience with me because if they brag about their experience, they're literally bragging on me. And that changes the vibration in my world. That's why we had extra sheep this year, because y'all were bragging about how wonderful it is at the ranch.
I was bragging about the tornado. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Looking forward to our conversation.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Last thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways, take with you. Cool stuff. And again, when you understand shame, it's kind of like having the Star Trek universal translator. You will be able to understand everybody else's shame. You'll see it for shame, not for resistance, not for procrastination. We use these nice words like procrastination or perfectionism to avoid literally saying shame. And now you're going to see, oh my goodness, that is just, All righty, folks. Well, I hope you have an amazing Thursday. We have some campers coming in, starting the long weekend. I think it's Memorial Day is the weekend they call it. Labor Day, I think, is in the fall. So, yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow morning. I'm your head brain training. Let's have shame take a second backseat. I'll see y'all where?
The next event.
Next event.
At the next event. I love it, love it, love it. Somebody give me some Costa Rica.
Pura vida.
Pura vida. We love you, Mark. And some Lydia's.
Peace be with us.
Peace be with us all.
Peace be with us all. And the queen of helping you find your deepest joyous desires, Jessie Lee Ward.
Boss Lee.
Boss Lee, we love you, girl. And a little white fluffy fluffing around.
Gurgly, gurgly, gurgly.
Gurgly. We love you, Fee. All right, everybody, go have some fun today. Recording's up on YouTube here as soon as it uploads. So love you tons. Bye for now.
Love you all.